Good morning, everybody. Welcome back to the AJ Analysis channel, where we're back with another live stream. First time in a little while. We're back with another tactical preview. Manchester United have just had a week off from any action, really. And now we're back ready to pick a starting 11 for this weekend's game against Bournemouth. Now, I know with the whole context of the league table and everything, our league games aren't the most relevant in the world right now. They're not the most interesting. But I still think we should talk about it, because ultimately we know that every single one of these places in the Premier League is worth a little bit of money, right? So every position that United can gain in the league before the end of the season will be money for Manchester United. So we should still be trying to win these games. Of course, though, we also have to remember we have a Europa League game coming pretty darn soon, and those games are important. So when we are picking this 11 today, we need to think about the Manchester United players, which ones are fit, which ones need some minutes sort of pumped into their legs this weekend to get them ready for Thursday, which players need to be protected, rotated out. I've got all the numbers for the minutes over the last 10 days, how much each player has played, so we've got a rough idea of how fresh they are. And also we need to consider that Amorim did hint a week ago now that we may be seeing some of the kids in the Premier League before the end of the season. So there is actually quite a lot to get through today, even if we don't feel particularly relevant in the league literally at this moment. We still need to talk about it. But before we do any of that, I want you guys to get yourselves in the chat and basically let me know how you're doing, because we haven't streamed for a week now. So I want to hear from you guys. I want to hear how we are. Steve, good morning to you, mate. 6-month membership from Steve. Thank you very much. That has flown by, Steve. I feel like, weirdly, it feels like I haven't spoken to you for that much, like that long. But also it feels like you've been a part of these streams for ages. It's weird. Has there been any Bilbao injury news? I haven't seen anything updated. I haven't seen anything in terms of Williams and Sanse as well. So I'm not actually sure, to be honest. Who else have we got in the chat? We've got Snipes. Good morning to you. Hope everything is going well. It's not bad at all, thank you. I feel like I'm back on track a little bit this week, which is nice. Hope you are well as well, my friend. Alex, good morning. How are you? Mustafa, there's loads of people. Tactical Devils, good afternoon. Hope you're well. To everyone, welcome to the stream. Thank you very much for joining. We've also got David in the chat. Good morning to you, my friend. Hope you're well. With links to the Discord server, which you guys need to join if you haven't already. If you haven't joined it by now, what are you doing? What are you doing? But also, there is a link to our second channel as well, so make sure to check that out. Struggling with the man flu, but getting better. But getting there. Man flu is tough. It's tough. Hope the hay fever is okay. So far. Although I live in like a farm area, right? Like there's a barn there, and I've seen like a cloud of dust coming from the farm because they're doing work today. So it might be the end of us pretty darn soon, but I hope you get better soon, my friend. Someone gifted me a membership. Whoever gifted it to me, a big thanks. Or Tactical Devils, welcome to the channel membership gang. It was probably, there's a few people it could have been. I'm sure someone will let you know in the chat. We've also got David in the chat this morning with the gifted membership to start off the stream. As always, it's what David does. David, thank you very much, mate. Really, really do appreciate the support as always. How are you, my friend? How are you? Edwick, good morning to you. Hope you're good. Fredrickson back-to-back starts, hopefully. Looked very solid for his first ever appearance. I was going to do a video on his debut, but I had a lot of other work come up with people like Cunha and stuff like that. I've got a Delap video coming as well, which I'll get back to in a second. But yeah, I was going to do a video on that Fredrickson performance because I thought he was really solid. For me, it didn't quite warrant a full video on the performance. I don't think, not quite. But if he keeps playing before the end of the season, we'll definitely have a video on him at some point. Need to get one of those air purifier things. I really do. AJ, can you do a video on your other channel about City's season? Oh, what other channel could that be? Could it be the AJ Talks Tactics channel? Subscribe, guys. Talking about City season, how they dropped off and how Pep fixed it. I would love to. I'm also probably going to do a video over there on Liverpool's sort of title-winning tactics. Arsenal season, what's gone wrong for Chelsea towards the end of the season, Postecoglou at Spurs. Yeah, I've got a lot of ideas for that channel. It's just about getting the time for it. Like I said, I've been working on a Delap video for the past 24 hours or so. And fully uploaded it last night. Ready to go. I saved it. Just ready. And we've been hit with a copyright claim, which isn't ideal. isn't ideal, so I'm working on getting that sorted. So that's why there's been a bit of delay on videos. But there is a Liam Delap video coming very, very soon. So, yeah, stay tuned for that. Anyway, shall we get to this game? Shall we get to the Bournemouth game? Because, like I said, I know the league table isn't the most interesting thing in the world, but I still think there's a lot we can learn about these United players. Because some of these players, as you can see with this 11, were rested last week. Bruno didn't start. Dalot didn't start. So I think we need to bring some of them back in, but also we can't overplay them, right? It's really difficult. It's really, really difficult. Ooh, did I see Alex in the chat? I did see Alex in the chat with a gifted membership. Alex, thank you very much, as always, for the support. Guys, you know what to do. Let's get that chat green, just like David has done there. Thank you very much, Alex, as always. Good morning, Jordan. Hope you're well, mate. I'm not bad, thank you. Not bad. Why Nottingham Forest are so good this season? I have done a video on Forest. I believe that was the first video we done on the second channel, so make sure to check that out at some point. Chelsea have been shite. How are they top 5, honestly? It's a weird Premier League season. It's weird, isn't it? Very, very odd. Is it just something that we say as salty United fans? Because, well, Liverpool so far ahead that they're not even on the picture here. Do we just say it's a bad Premier League season because Liverpool have won it comfortably? If it was someone else, would we be saying the same thing? Not sure. But it has felt a bit of a weird season. I feel like even Liverpool fans, with their title win this season, they don't seem as hyped as what they have in the past. Perhaps I'm just not seeing it. Maybe I'm on the wrong side of the internet. But it feels like a weird Premier League season. It doesn't seem like many Premier League fans are actually over the moon with what their club's doing right now. Like Arsenal love what they're doing in the Champions League, but are gutted they've fallen short in the league again. Liverpool perhaps disappointed to go out of all the other competitions so early. And maybe the title race is a bit anticlimactic because they've won it so early. I don't know, it feels like a slightly weird season in the Premier League. Even though there's still a lot of quality. Like the race for Europe right now is mental. So it's a weird one. It's a weird one. Anyway, actually, this just proves the point. This proves the point. Look at the top of the table there. We've got 8th, Bournemouth, who we play this weekend. I believe, correct me if I'm wrong, if any of you guys are good with your stats out there, I believe Bournemouth have won 1 of their last 10 games over 90 minutes. You know, they've had a penalty shootout win, I believe. But they beat Fulham the other week. And even that was a terrible game. The second half in particular was so bad in terms of the quality. It's weird. It's really weird. Oh yeah, just looking at our form there, by the way. Only 1 win in the last 5. That's always good fun. That's really good fun. How are Spurs 16th with that goal difference? It's mind-boggling. It's a funny old Premier League season, isn't it? It's a funny old season this year. True, I think Liverpool fans knew they won it so early that it probably died off a bit. Yeah, it's almost like they're just waiting for the end of the season now, see what... I think they've also had the uncertainty around contracts, which probably hasn't helped with some of their excitement. I dare say they'll be excited this weekend because they should beat that Spurs team. Might do a video on it on the second channel, we'll see. Anyway, let's stop rambling about the rest of the league. Who cares about them lot? Let's talk about Manchester United. And let's talk about the starting 11 for this weekend. Because this was the 11 that we saw last weekend. We anticipated rotation. We expected some youngsters to come into the team. We probably didn't expect Fredrickson to play. That caught us all off guard, right? That was random as hell. I just didn't see Fredrickson starting that game. I did a video last Sunday morning looking at, I think it was 6 United Academy players that could get a chance before the end of the season. Fredrickson wasn't in my top 6, and he probably wouldn't have been in my top 8, to be honest. So that was a bit of a surprise. Do I think he'll start this game again? I'm not too sure. Like I've said a couple of times, there's such a fine balance for Amorim to try and get in this game. Because take someone like Bruno, for example. He needs a rest. Of course he does. He's in the top 5 for minutes played in Europe this season, as is Diogo Dalot in this picture here. But also, for some players, they've played every 3 days throughout their career. Particularly Bruno Fernandes, right? He's always been in European football. They play every 3 or 4 days. And you would think they need a rest, and they probably do. But also, they love the rhythm of playing football. So for someone like Bruno, his body will have probably appreciated having, you know, less game time in the last 7 days. But I wonder if mentally, he's actually missed it. Because when you're good, and Bruno Fernandes is pretty good, right? You just want to play football constantly. And I think that's the balance for Amorim in this game. He has said about youngsters playing to protect some of the first teamers. But also, you've got to make sure that the players that we want to use for Thursday are sharp as well. They need to be match ready. Like, it's such a fine balance. You want to play Bruno Fernandes so he can gain some momentum from this game, play well. But imagine if you play him and then he gets injured, or it happens to Dallo or Casemiro or anyone. It's such a fine balance to get. But also at the same time, like, I don't want to be Standards FC or whatever, but we're Manchester United and we can't just accept, we'll throw away this game against Bournemouth because we've got Bilbao coming up. That's not how it should work at this football club. It should be every week striving for wins. And again, we're in 14th. We're not in a position to be throwing away the rest of the Premier League season. So I want to see a reasonably strong team. I'm not talking about full strength. And, you know, the strong players come off around 45, 60 minutes. That's sort of what I'm thinking. I'm expecting not necessarily stronger than this 11 here, but I'm expecting different. So what we're going to do is we're going to take the United players out of the team initially. We'll leave Onana in because I'm assuming he's going to play. Let's take out the rest of the players though. Why have I still got Bellegarde up here from last week? Not exactly professional from myself. But let's get rid of the United players and go through the outfield 10 and figure out an 11 for this weekend, which allows us to win this football match to gain momentum, which allows us to see some of the academy players and give them their opportunities, that allows us to protect key players for Thursday, but also keep match sharpness high. Difficult balance. Let's start off with the back three. What are your thoughts? Obviously, Fredrickson is an option. Lindelof is an option. Mazraoui is an option. We've also got Harry Maguire, the hero of last week, is an option for this position. Lenny Yoro also. Diogo Dallo, I'm always happy to put into the conversation, even though I don't think we're going to see him there at the moment. I don't think we will. Have I missed anyone? Do we have any Delict updates? Has anybody seen anything on that? I think people are rested now. Let's see who is sharp for Bilbao. Players get injured at this stage of the season. Fatigue is setting in 100%. That's why it's so difficult. By the way, guys, whilst you are here, if you could please leave a like on the stream, subscribe, get notifications on, that would be amazing. That would be amazing. You would make a Manchester United fan's day if you could do that. Let's take a look at the minutes played recently. Onana, 210 in the last 10 days, which, you know, normally the players at the top of this list would look at and go, oh, maybe we need to protect them a little bit. But this is in the last 10 days. Normally, these lot play that in a week. You know, you think normally we play Sunday, Thursday, Sunday, so 8 days. Bruno often plays 270 in the space of 8 days. So for the fact that in the last 10 days he's only played 150, I think these guys are going to be pretty fresh, to be honest, compared to what they have been recently. So I don't think there's necessarily anyone that needs rest. There might be some that need injury prevention or protection with Thursday in mind. AJ, do you think Cunha is a good signing? I think Cunha, the footballer, is amazing. He was top of my list for the inside forward position. In terms of options that I felt were realistic, he's the one that I would have wanted. The attitude stuff, a little bit concerning. I don't mind a player with arrogance. I don't mind a competitive streak in a player. Absolutely fine. But when you're hitting people, that's taking it too far. So hopefully that's something that we can sort of manage and sort out. Financially, it's a bit much. You know, it is a lot of money, but it's what footballers cost these days. You know, what was it, 5-6 years ago now, Wan-Bissaka cost us £50 million. So for Cunha to now cost us 60 actually doesn't seem that expensive. So I think it's a good signing if we get it done. I like him a lot. I think he improves this Manchester United team. On the pitch, my only concern is if we move away from Amorim in the next 18 months, where his position would come in like a 4-2-3-1, for example, or a 4-3-3. Slightly more concerned about that, but he should be versatile enough. I think it's a good signing. I like the player a lot. I think he's very close to what we need. He would have been in my top 3 or 4 for that position. So, yeah, I'm happy. Steve is going big with his back 3. He's going Yoro, he's going Maguire, and he's going Mazraoui. Just for an hour, though. I like it. Mazraoui, Lindelof, Fredrickson. It would be cool to see Fredrickson given another opportunity. I trust Amorim to manage personality. I think I do as well, to be honest. I think I do as well. I think we should bring Yoro for the second half, but depends on the game state. If it gets heated, then I'd protect someone like Yoro and Mazraoui. That's a good point as well. I mean, I'm not sure if I see this being an overly competitive game. Of course, Bournemouth are still trying to chase European football, but I don't know that it's going to be crazy heated. The only thing I would say is Bournemouth are a very good pressing side. They are pretty relentless in their high press, so they're not going to make it easy to play out from the back. Pressing means tackles, so there will be a lot of tackles in this game. There probably will be a lot of contact going on. So that is something to be aware of. But again, we can't just wrap players up completely, right? We can't baby them. We can't protect them too much. They're footballers. This is their job to play football. Oh, Alex has just made a really good point. We need Luke Shaw in the darn conversation. Now, unfortunately, I can't find him right now because he's in my injured pile, which is full. Oh, he's not even in there. He just doesn't exist. Let's get Shaw involved in the conversation because I genuinely think he's an option for this game. Because I don't think he'll start Thursday. I wouldn't have thought. Probably not just sharp enough, really. So I think he's an option there. Should we do some polls to try and figure this out sort of position by position? So we'll start off with the middle centre-back. We'll go Maguire. Well, I've also got Johnny Evans who could come in. So many players. I believe De Ligt is still out. So we're going to go Maguire, Lindelof, or Evans for the middle centre-back. We did see Yoro there for a brief period towards the end of the Wolves game, but I don't think we'll see him there from the start for this one. I don't think. Shaw, Lindelof, Yoro. That's quite a strong back three. I quite like that. I choose Lindelof because we will need to rest Maguire because he's been getting minor injuries here and there throughout the season. Not even just this season. I think the last couple of years, to be honest, he's had a bit of a problem, Maguire, with picking up those knocks. Shaw, hell no, he's not fit. How long did he play against Lyon? Obviously, he came on at half-time in normal time. So it went up, was that 75 minutes for him, I guess? Yeah, 75. You can see him towards the bottom there. If he's fit enough to play 75 in one night, 10 days later, he is ready to play. Not 90, maybe not even 60, but you could get 45 out of him. I think he could be someone that either he starts and plays 45 minutes, or you bring him on for, let's say Mazraoui starts the game, you bring Shaw on second half. I could see something like that. I think Amorim needs to win this game. 2 losses going into the Bilbao game can affect player mentality. I agree completely. I think it's all well and good going, but we've got this big game coming up. Winning is a habit, right? We've always said that. You need to win football matches. It's as a player, when you win, you don't feel so tired. You can just keep going, and that's what we need to try and get into. Lindelof is awful, but he's going to have to make do as we need our best 11 to play Bilbao. Even 45 out of Shaw makes sense? Yeah, 100%. Good morning, Chad. If Evans doesn't win the poll, everyone is getting timed out. Yeah, that's valid. That's valid. Could we see some new faces from the academy given minutes in this game, like a Camerson, Mantato, Kone, Kukonki? I mean, yeah, I probably should include Kukonki in this conversation. I've got him down here somewhere. Where is he? He's number 87, right? Here he is, Kukonki. Could he come in? Start Shaw versus fresh lads, or bring him on when it's a bit less fresh. Yeah, true. Bringing Shaw on when the opposition are a bit more fatigued might be a good strategy. The poll at the moment is going for Maguire, and it's pretty one-sided, so we're going to put him straight into the team. So how do you make the team around him? I'm trying to think. I think realistically, the way I see it with the back three is you can probably get 2 starters in there, and then maybe the third one is a rotated one. Whether that's rotation with a youngster, like a youth player, or whether that's rotation with like Lindelof coming into the team. So let's say currently Maguire, Yoro, Mazraoui is our best back three. I think maybe 2 of them for this game from the start, perhaps, and then you play the other one second half. He said he'd play the kids. I would play Kukonki centre-back, Camerson and Mantato, or one of them at right wing-back, Kone in midfield, and Chido up top. I mean, you're right, Amorim did say this. He did say this last week. I think wing-back is a position where perhaps we could see one of them, potentially. Oh, by the way, I just thought something funny. Just keep an eye on my head height compared to the wall behind me today, because I think I broke my chair. Because yesterday, when I was sitting here editing, I just kind of kept slowly sinking. So we'll come back to that at the end of the stream to see if we've shrunk at all, because I, of all people, cannot afford to shrink. So we'll see. Anyway, how do you do this around him? Dallo probably not going to play as a centre-back, so we'll take him out of there. I genuinely think the rest of these 5 could play. Probably won't know properly until the youth games are done. Very, very true. Very true. I don't know how to do this. I'll tell you what we'll do. We'll do a poll. I'm just going to label it centre-back. I'm not specifically talking about one position. I'm going to put Yoro into the poll and Mazraoui, but just those 2. And basically, we're going to say pick one of them. And then we're going to have 2 of our 3, like our main back 3, starting, and then the other one's going to be a rotation option for this game, all right? So we're going to go so you've already picked Maguire. Maguire's going to play in the middle, then Yoro or Mazraoui, and then we'll find a new third option. That's what we're going to do. Chad, I did indeed, mate. I did indeed. Next season, 100% the defence would have more youth in there, especially at right wing back. Yeah, hopefully. Obviously, the blend is going to be getting youth and experience in the team, but hopefully we can achieve that. I'd love to see one of the young lads given a run at right wing back. But Steve, that would mean your beloved Dallo out of the team. I can't believe you said that. Play Shaw. I don't even care if he gets injured again. He's surplus and not needed. Well, that's just not very nice, the poor fella. That's not very nice. I see Amorim going quite strong, to be honest, for Bournemouth. Same. I think we're going to see like Bruno Fernandes, etc. in there. Like I said, defence is maybe where we could see one of them come out, just because he's going to want experience in this area for Thursday. So he won't want to put all three of them at risk, if you know what I mean. But this is why I'm happy to go for two of them. And you guys are going for Mazraoui. So we'll put Mazraoui into the team. We'll play Mazraoui on the right-hand side. Basically, what I want you guys to do now, we'll take Yoro out of the team. We'll give him a rest for Thursday. Pick one of those four to play this game from the start. We're not going to do a poll for this. Just whack a name in the chat. Fredrickson, Kukonki, Shaw, or Lindelof. What do we reckon? Steve deserves a timeout for that. He genuinely does. Genuinely. Fredrickson is actually good. I was pleased with his debut. I thought he played well. He impressed me. By the way, guys, listen to Chad in the chat. Leave a like on the stream, because why would you not? Why would you not leave a like? Hey, it's so easy to do. Like, it's free. You just like load up below the video and press like. It's the same with the polls. Completely free. You just open it and you press it. Why not do it? Why not do it? When Bruno got subbed on against Wolves, he completely changed the game, so he's a must start on Sunday. Especially if you want to win the game, right? Especially if you want to win the game. Any updates on Ahmad? I believe Fabrizio Romano said that he should be back in training next week. So I think maybe he's got a chance at 20 minutes in the second leg against Bilbao. If not, I think we're looking towards the final, should we get there. Hopefully we get there. I'm seeing a lot of Shaws in the chat. Oh, but I'm seeing Fredrickson. It's between those two, it seems, at the moment. Fredrickson then brings Shaw on at 45 or 60. I'd like to see Shaw handhold Amas, and we can have our two thick boys on the left. Okay, I was not expecting that to be the second part of that message. Fredrickson for the second half. Yeah, that's what I would do here. I would, if you start Shaw, I'd take him off after 45. But if you don't start Shaw, let's say you go Fredrickson, for example, you could do Shaw for Mazraoui in the second half as well. So that would be good. But I'm seeing more. I think I'm seeing more of Shaw in there. Hang on, let's count. 1, 2, 3. No, actually, there's more Fredrickson. There's more Fredrickson. So we're going to go with Fredrickson in the team. We're going to take Lindelof out, the poor fella. Shaw can come out. Kukonki can come out. So that's our back four so far. On to the wing-backs. Who have we got? Bendito Mantato. Possibly. We've got Camerson. Possibly. We've got Diogo Dallo. Likely. We've got Harry Amas. I think he's playing well. Going to do a video on him. I think he's doing all right at the moment. And we've also got Patrick Dorgu. Now, Dorgu, I believe, is actually now up there for minutes played in the past 10 days. You can see him in third place there. He hasn't completed either of the last two games. But, yeah, he has started both. So it might be his time to come out of the team. I'll start Shaw versus Semenyo. I mean, that is something we need to consider also, the opposition. We probably don't do that enough on these streams at the moment, particularly in the Premier League. If we're trying to win the game, Semenyo is quality. Quality. Was I not showing the team on stream then when I was talking about your screen, AJ? Was I showing the wrong thing? Was I on the wrong thing? I do apologise if I was. Yes, Semenyo is someone to be worried about. Someone to pay respect to. You know, you can't give him time. He's up there for shots in the Premier League this season. He's a danger man. He picks up the ball, he attacks you, he shoots. It would be a big day for Fredrickson. That would be a tough test for him. Perhaps Shaw would be better off. But also, sure, coming back from injury, is Semenyo the player you want him up against? Because Semenyo will test your hamstrings by running, just to clarify. Prefer Dorgu against Semenyo? I think there's sometimes a shout for could Dorgu even play here? Not in a back four as a centre-back, but maybe on the side of a back three. I'm not sure. Anyway, you guys did vote Fredrickson, though, so we'll go with him. First question, left wing back, Dorgu or Amas? And actually, we are going to do a poll on this one because I'm genuinely interested to see where you guys stand on this. Because I think Amas has been impressive recently. Dorgu's had a couple of slightly slower games, I think. In the past couple of weeks, not been quite as good as what he was in the early months. But still, obviously, a good young player. We're not giving up on him. He's going to have these spells. But I'm interested to see who you guys will go for. Realistically, I would expect Dorgu to start against Athletic Bilbao on Thursday. So do we need to rest him? Do we need to protect him? Possibly. I think Dorgu's the more likely player to play that game because he's a bit more experienced and physically he's got a big advantage over Amas. So I think he will start that one. So do we take him out here? I don't care now. We're not getting relegated. Throw in all the under-21s. Yeah, fair. Although the starters do need momentum as well. They do need momentum. Would you like United to sign Semenyo with Cunha? I love the idea of Semenyo as a signing. He's someone I've been talking about probably since January as a potential United signing. The problem is, apparently they value him at like 65, 70 million. And I don't think they're going to have to sell because Kirkhope will probably go. Housen will probably go. I don't think they're going to be forced to sell Semenyo, so I think it would cost a lot of money. So I don't think it'll be doable for United alongside the likes of Cunha, but he's a great player. Very good. He would have been a nice option for us because he can play wing-back both sides. He could play inside forward both sides. Striker if you need him to. Good player. I'd like Dorgu to play and get sharp. What would I go for? I think I would go for Amas, but more just because personally I like watching Amas. So it's a slightly selfish thing. Maybe Dorgu starts and you take him off after 45, 50 minutes. See, that's something else that we need to be careful with because I was thinking the same thing. But we've got to remember, we've only got 5 subs. So we can only pick so many players that we're going to protect around 50 minutes. So we need to be careful with that. We can't pick too many players that we're going to protect after an hour because we can only protect so many of them, right? Anyway, you guys have voted for Amas in the poll, so Amas is going to play on the left-hand side. Dorgu, however, is going to be in the conversation on the right-hand side because he did play there last week. Semenyo is just a better version of Garnacho. In terms of profile, very, very different players. Very, very different. They're both wingers, I guess, yes, but apart from that, they don't share too many similarities. Anyway, right wing back, let's have a look at the options. We've got Dallo. We've got Dorgu, probably the two most likely. I would then say Camerson comes in as third. And then we've got Mansato. There we go. Poll in the chat. Now, Amas getting the ball into the box will help whoever starts up front. Also pushes Semenyo and Smith back. I do find out with Amas compared to Dorgu. I think he's just a more aggressive player. Again, I need to keep saying it. I don't mean aggressive like going about kicking people. I mean positionally aggressive and like with his actions, his mindset is a forward-thinking one. He does want to try and get the ball forward. Last week, I wouldn't say we necessarily saw that tons. We saw a slightly safe performance from him at the time against Wolves, but we expect that from a young player as well. I want to see him towards the end of the season, between now and the end of May. I want to see him growing in confidence and taking on a bit more responsibility to move the ball forward because we know he can do it. Those of you that have watched him in the academy know that he's such a good progressive player. I want to see him starting to kind of feel himself a little bit in the first team and starting to do that. Hopefully he will. Amorim will probably sub 2 defenders and 2 midfielders and a striker this game. Yes, Garnacho's one we've got to look at as well, though, isn't he? In terms of the inside forward position. Because he's played a lot of football in the last 2. A lot of football. I was surprised that he played 90 minutes last weekend. I did not expect that. I think Amorim knows he's our only winger, so wants to use him. But we do have to be careful with him as well. AJ, please tell us how Delap would fit into the United setup. I will do that video if we get closer to signing him. What I'm going to have for you guys this afternoon, providing we get away with some copyright issues, is a video looking at Delap, his profile, how good he is, what he is as a footballer. And then another day, if we continue to be linked or get closer, we will then do another video looking at how he fits into the 3-4-3, Amorim's system. So first of all, it'll be a profile breakdown, how good is he, then a second video looking at how he will fit in. But that second video isn't going to be yet. It's going to be a while away. AJ, how are we able to afford Cunha and Delap when we haven't sold anyone and we have been crying out for funds? I think I always say this in football, right? Everything is so blown out of proportion. It's never as good as you think it is. It's never as bad as you think it is. People in football deal in extremes when it's just never the case. United being broke means we can't spend 500 million on players in one summer. We're still capable of spending over 100 million, I honestly reckon. So, you know, I think it's just always a case of like United's financial situation was blown out of proportion previously. Plus, there is this expectation that we will sell some, which will see some money come in. Wages will change. I think it's a lot of that, to be honest. Hold on, did we settle on Fredrickson ahead of Shaw whilst I made my coffee? We did indeed, Alex, we did. Oh, David, you meant one of the attack midfielders as well. I got you. Okay, right wing back. How's the poll going? Dallo is winning at the moment. It's fairly close, closest poll of the day so far, but I think we're going to give that to Dallo because the others, it's closer, but they're not that close. So we're going to go for Dallo on the right-hand side. And to be honest, how this is shaping up is the sort of team that, yeah, I think we will see a pretty strong one with kind of sprinkles of young players in there as well. Midfield. Choices. Casemiro. Needs minutes, needs to be sharp, match sharp, but we need to protect him because we're going to need him in the Europa League. Ugarte. Eriksen. Bruno Fernandes. Please make him fit for the final, for the semi-final, and the final. But we need to make sure he's fit, but we also want to play him because we want to win these football matches. Kobe Mainoo could play in a midfield role, although we haven't seen it recently. Have we got anyone else? Youngsters. You've got the Fletcher brothers that could play. You've got Sekou Kone. There's a few that we could go into there, but I don't think any of them will start. If we've got Fredrickson and Amas, I wouldn't expect to see a young player in midfield as well. That would surprise me a little bit. If Dallo starts, I hope he doesn't play more than an hour. Yeah, I guess the luxury we've got here is if Dallo starts, we could do Dorgu on the right-hand side after 55 minutes or something. I kind of like the idea of that. Is Collier fit? I believe he's back on grass now training. I'm sure I saw that somewhere the other day, but I don't think he's back fit for starting the game, if you know what I mean. Casemiro doesn't need sharpness. He needs a cup of tea and a blanket. He'll be grand. Let's take a look at his minutes. How much has he played in the last 10 days? 120 minutes. He probably doesn't need to be overly protected. You know, it's 10 days since he played now. See, that's my concern, Steve. If you don't play Casemiro here, you save him for Bilbao. By the time we get there, it's going to be 2 weeks since he last went on a football pitch. Is that too long, or is it that prime period? Is it perfect for him? What do we reckon? Is that perfect for a player like Casemiro, 2 weeks? Or is it just a little bit too long? Does he need 30 minutes here? He's going to start the first team near to what starts on Thursday and then take people off at the hour. To an extent, I agree. I think we'll see a strong team. I don't think we're going to see this team for Thursday because you can't protect all of them, right? You can only make so many subs on the 50th, the 60th minute. So I don't think we'll see full strength, but I think it'll be close. Dorgu on the right is better than Dallo, or against Wolves he was. Yeah, I think Dorgu played pretty well. It suited him on the right-hand side, sort of coming back in from the right to the left. Kind of ideal for his old bones, in my honest opinion. Casemiro needs to play to be on form. He becomes better with playing time. I do agree. For me, he's a bit of a momentum player. Again, he's a player who's played throughout his career frequently, regular football. For International, for Real Madrid, he played a lot of football. He's not used to having 2 weeks out. I wouldn't start him, by the way. I should clarify that. I'd give him the last 20 minutes, perhaps. But you do always risk an injury. I'd probably give him the last 20. And if Amorim... We need to remember this as well, by the way. Remember what answers you're giving today. And remember that Amorim is still trying to get us up the league table if possible. So if he picks a player and they get injured let's not overreact and be like, oh my god, Amrim's an idiot. It's just part of football. Footballers get injured. You can't protect them all the time. You can only do it to an extent, right? So if something does go wrong, let's not overreact and be crazy and call Amrim an idiot for playing this player when we should have rested him, because it's just not necessary, right? Clearly, we need to try and win football matches still, so it makes sense, to an extent, to play a somewhat strong team here. Because imagine we throw away the rest of the Premier League games, we don't care, and we go out of Europa League. Then we're just throwing away 7 games for no reason. So I don't think we should completely just give up on these matches. Having said that, I wouldn't start Casemiro. I would take him out of the team. What do we reckon in here? At the moment, Cobby feels like he's perhaps more of a 10 in the system. I want to look into that, particularly ahead of next season, because I eventually want him to come deeper again. But for now, I don't see him as an inside forward. Sorry, I do see him as an inside forward currently. I think that's how Amorim sees him. So perhaps it's down to these 3 into the 2 positions. What do we reckon? Look at that Wolves form. Wolves form, easy for me to say. It's amazing. They've been so good recently. I want them to do a video on the second channel on their tactics, but other people have done it already. So fair play to them. They were quicker, so I don't think I'm going to do one. Maybe at the end of the season, though. Sort of how they survived. We'll see. Ugarte, Bruno. Take Bruno off after half-time, maybe? Take him off at half-time. With Cunha, we are going to be stacked in the 10 position. It's weird, isn't it? It's a weird thing with building for this system. I guess it is a concern in the long term, and it's why we need versatile players. Because if you look at the 3-4-3 system, there's an argument that there's no winger position because it's 10s and wingbacks, and there's also no 8 position because it's 6s and 10s. It's weird for squad building. Again, I think that's why we need to make sure when we do recruit that we bring versatile players in. So should things go tits up in the future, we can change to a different strategy and have the squad to do it. Like I said, with Cunha there, he does feel like he's perfect for that number 10 position. But would he be perfect for a different position? I don't know. I'd say Bruno and Ugarte start. I think so as well. Cobby and Mount as the inside forwards. We'll get to the inside forwards in just 1 second. Let's quickly talk about the midfielders first. Ugarte, Bruno. I can't see Bruno getting dropped, and a pivot of Bruno and Eriksen does not work as a starting pair. I think that's a completely fair comment. By the way, guys, as David has said in the chat, please no spamming of messages, and certainly no all capital messages. Either of those 2 things, they're not going to get read out. So, yeah. I didn't watch the Wolves game, but I know Bruno was on the bench. How did we perform until he came on the pitch? I honestly think we played alright against Wolves last week. I said it in my video. I think we played reasonably well. Of course, when Bruno comes on, it goes up a level. You instantly get almost immediate creativity from Bruno. You get immediate impact because he's Bruno Fernandes. That's what he does. But I don't think we were horrible without him. I thought the football was good. We just lacked a bit of quality in the final third, to be honest. A little bit of quality. The Bruno Eriksen pivot always terrifies me. Yeah, they don't work. It's the same as like Eriksen and Casemiro. You just can't do it, I don't think. Maybe if you're chasing a game late on, but not from the start. Ugarte and Eriksen started versus Wolves. I'm expecting the same again. Are you expecting the same again in midfield as a 2, or do you think there's potential for Eriksen to move a little bit higher into one of the 10s? I think... Is he going to rest Bruno? That's the one I can't figure out. It's the one I can't figure out. Is he going to rest Bruno? He had rest last week. Is it going to be another 25-minute cameo, do you reckon? Do you think it's going to be another 25 minutes? So, Ugarte and Eriksen start. Bruno will come on 65th, 70th. Is that what you reckon? We were toothless without Bruno. We lack venom without Bruno. Yeah, I think I'd agree with that. We were alright for most of the pitch, and then that last little bit, quality weren't there. Eriksen could not be a 10 to me. Fair enough. We have seen a couple of games of him there, is the only reason I suggested it. Bruno ain't getting rested. Bruno starts and plays 60. No chance Bruno's getting rested too. Let's do a poll. And I don't want this one to be what you would do, right? I don't want to know what you're going to do. I want to know what you think Ruben Amorim will do. Start, rest. I think he'll play. I think he'll get minutes in this game. What will Amorim do with Bruno? That is the question. Brugate? Oh, what a name that is. What will Amorim do with Bruno? There we go. In a chat. Now, get involved in the poll. The problem with Eriksen is he can't press when he's higher and can't support the defence in transition. Yeah, he's going to be a problem player for us ultimately, Eriksen, unless it's a team sitting really deep and we're going to dominate the ball, which won't be the case in this game. So he is naturally going to be a problem here and there. He's just kind of at that point in his career, unfortunately. Don't think he'll be here beyond the end of this season. So it's sort of making do with what we've got till the end of the year, isn't it? Especially while we're trying to protect these other players. Okay, so early on in that poll, by the way, you guys are fancying Bruno to start. And again, this is what Amorim will do, not what you will do. Like, if you had to put your life on it, don't, because that'd be silly. But what would you do? I would say he would rest him because we will have the Europa League games, and between that is Brentford. Is it Brentford between? I thought it was West Ham. No, West Ham's afterwards, isn't it? West Ham's afterwards. I was trying to get tickets for the game, but I can't. Sad times. I think he will start. Bruno is probably taking meds because of the lack of game time against Wolves. I can imagine Bruno right now is in Amorim's ear, chirping away, going, I want to play, mate. I want to play. I want to play. Start me. Start me. Start me. I want to play. AJ, we've also forgotten about Mount. I haven't forgotten about him. Don't worry. I've got him here. I was saving him for the front three conversation just because right now it's where I think he's more likely. But to be fair, we probably do need to include him in these conversations as well. I'm trying to think back. Has Mount played in double pivot under Amorim? Under Ten Hag, we saw a few games where he played deep. Has he done it in the 3-4-3? I actually can't remember. That's not a rhetorical question. I actually just can't remember. Has he played in the double, or has he only been in the front three? Does anyone know? Just put Kone in midfield. He's an option for us, definitely. I think we've got enough in midfield that we won't see one of the youngsters there, though. I think he will use other people. I could see Mount starting this one as a 10. Yeah, I could see that for sure. I think also with Mount, we are being just extra cautious. Pardon me, I do apologise. Don't think he's played the deeper one. Yeah, we'll save him for the front three then. I think he could maybe do a job when we sort of change to that diamond shape a little bit more. I think he could do a job there. No, mainly because he played one game and got injured. Yeah. Okay, so you guys are starting Bruno. Okay, you guys are starting Bruno. So what we're going to do is, I think we've got more options in the front three. So we're going to put Bruno deep, and we're going to move on to the front three. I think Eriksen could play there because it gives you that license to go into the midfield three like we've seen this season. Kobe could play there. Mount could play there. To be honest, I expect one of these three to play this position. On the other side, well, actually up front, we've got Cheeto. We've got Højlund. On the left, we've got Garnacho, or maybe one of these guys moving over there. Have we got any other options? Maybe a Morehouse. Maybe on the bench. I'm not sure. I just checked and Mount has in fact basically never played. It feels that way. Did you see my video I did on Mount? What was it, about 10 days ago now? The minutes he's played, I think it was the equivalent of 13 90-minute matches since he joined the club. I think I might be wrong. I might be misremembering there. But I think it's the equivalent of 13 matches in 2 seasons. It's insane. It's insane. I don't think Mount and Shaw will start due to the risk of injury, even though they are fit to play. Their fitness is really confusing. I think they will both play. I think they will both get minutes. I don't think they're necessarily going to start. I saw someone the other day, and I'd love to hear your thoughts on this, saying that with Mount, what they would do is essentially accept that there's not time between now and the end of the season for Mount to get up to full match speed. They were sort of saying it won't happen. Like, Mount isn't going to get to the condition this season to start the Europa League final. So instead what we should do is use this as an extended pre-season. So to, rather than starting him, keep giving him 30, 45-minute cameos till the end of the season, then give him a full preseason, then go again next year where we start using him as a starter. And I'd love to get your thoughts on that. Do you think that is the best way to manage the Mount situation? Or do you think we are at a point now, he's had several cameos from the bench. He's been in the squad for around 6 weeks now. Do you think we are at the point where he can start, he can play 60, he can play 70? How do you see it? How do you see it? Garnacho needs to be rested. Yeah, so of the outfielders, I believe he's played the most football in the past 2 games. I was really surprised to see him play 90 against Wolves. I was surprised by that. I was surprised to see him starting, to be honest, because Amorim has said, he said it after the Lyon game, we can't bring him off, basically, because he's our only winger. He's our only direct 1-versus-1 threat, so we've got to keep him fit. So it's weird that he then started a few days later and played 90 minutes. That was a little bit weird. A little bit odd. But also maybe he feels he's got to have someone on the pitch that's a winger. Garnacho's the only option. I don't know. I'm not sure. Fair point, AJ. I do see that being the case with Mount. Yeah, it wasn't actually my initial point. Someone said it on Twitter. I can't remember who it was. But yeah, someone made the point on Twitter, and I do see something in it, to be fair. Garnacho was good against Wolves. I thought he was lively. It was nice to see him sort of going both ways. Quite selfless, I felt, as well. The only issue I had with Garnacho the other day was sort of like there was a lack of understanding, I felt, between him and Amas. There were moments where they were sort of like in each other's way a little bit down the left-hand side, particularly when Garnacho moved wider. But I think generally speaking, his actions were pretty good. He was pretty selfless. There was that one, which... But I think he was pretty selfless in this game. I think he was looking for cutbacks. He was looking for crosses, and I enjoyed seeing that. So, yeah, I agree. I think he had a decent game, a better game as well. Garnacho is going to be sold. No idea on that, to be honest. He wouldn't be starting half as much if Ahmad was fit. I do agree with that point, to be fair. I do agree with that. What do we reckon for this front three, guys? What do we reckon? Why do you love Ugarte, who can't make a single forward pass? Oh, my friend. If you're aiming at me, you're misguided. I do not love Ugarte. People on this channel will back that. I think I do love him as a person. I love his intensity. I love the way he wants to play football, by being aggressive, by being snappy, being relentless. I love it. But I do actually have concerns over him technically on and off the ball. I highlighted some of those concerns before he joined the club. I've lost my trail of thought there. I've been quite critical of him throughout the season. Ugarte for not really giving us enough. When he was at Sporting, by the way, I loved him. I'll admit this, I was wrong on my assessment of him earlier in his career. At Sporting, I thought he was an amazing player. I thought he looked press resistant to me. It just hasn't translated well to different leagues. And unfortunately, he's not developed as much as you would have hoped. Struggled at PSG. He was just used in the wrong way, which didn't suit him at all, which has sort of stunted his development. I think he's a really good squad player for us. I will say that much. I think he's a fantastic squad player, actually. Someone who can come in and be a ball winner and bring bite and energy, tenacity, everything. It's a great... It's a great profile to have from the bench and within your squad. So for certain games you bring him in, lovely. But as a starter, my assessment was this. I said this last summer. When we signed Ugarte, I said he's a good player. He's too expensive. And I believe I said within 12 months we'll want a new starter. That was my final point on him. Like, cool, he's good, he's a great squad player, but it's a lot of money for someone that I will want to replace in 12 months. I believe that was sort of my assessment at the time. So... yeah, I've still got that stance. I still wouldn't be looking to build around him next season. I'd be looking at other options, but I think he'll be a good squad player for us next season, and hopefully that's how he's used. Because if he is, I think it'll be great for us. Like I said, certain games you want to bring him in. Let's say we sign a ball winner midfielder, and then you're playing a big team. You want to play ball winner midfielder and Ugarte. Whew, nice, right? Try and break us down now, mate. I like the idea of that. It's just certain games I don't think he suits, but that's always the case with these players, right? They've all got certain game states, certain scenarios, certain tactical fits, you can take an amazing player, but if the fit isn't right, he's not going to do that well. And I feel like we've got that a little bit with Ugarte. It's just not quite what we need. Ugarte is epic. AJ dislikes Ugarte. I've argued with AJ over Ugarte. Ugarte is probably the player that I have the most disagreements with on the Discord, on the channel, since he signed for the club. He's probably the player that I've disagreed with people the most. Ugarte with Edison would be nice to see. That's what I mean, right? You're playing away at City or Arsenal or Liverpool, playing those two to protect your back line. The physicality they bring, the tenacity. Lovely. Lovely, 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 lovely. Smaller teams, where you want more technical quality on the ball, not so sure. I love Ugarte, but I do agree over the fact that we need a starting midfielder in the summer. Yeah, that's how I see it. Again, I think in 18 months, I'm hoping I'll be sitting here going, oh my god, Ugarte is such a good squad player for us to have. He's such a good player to bring in from the bench or hand-pick for these big games. That's how I'm hoping it goes. That we have someone ahead of him, but he's still an amazing squad player for us. Because not everyone we sign has to be a starter. It's always going to be the case that some of them won't start every game. Of course it will, right? You know, there'll be players we sign this summer that won't come in and start every game. There'll be bench options, or there'll be players that we look to develop. Ugarte's still young himself. So, yeah, that's my view on Ugarte. Anyway, should we get back to the front three? Because I think I saw some... Yeah, Alex went for the Mount, Kobbie Mainoo, Højlund front three. And honestly, I don't mind it at all. I think Kobbie will play. I quite like the idea of that. I think Kobbie will play this game. Because I don't think he'll start against Bilbao. So it makes sense to play him here as we're trying to get him back up to speed. So I would go for Kobbie in this front three. For me, it's basically which of these three do you play and which of these two do you play? How much has Højlund played? Does he need a rest? 157 in 10 days. He's probably alright. Again, these lot are used to playing 3 games in 8 days. So he's probably alright. He probably doesn't need to be protected too much. Although we are low on strikers. Would I go Cheeto? I'd quite like to see us go with Cheeto, Obi. That would be quite fun. I'm hoping 12 months from now we're going, wow, I love Ugarte, suddenly gained elite press resistance and progressive passion. What a great signing. I think I was meant to say passing, wasn't it? But, I mean, that's the dream, right? Maybe my dream was a bit more realistic. To be fair, not every player hits the ground running, especially in this United team. Yeah, 100%. Judge him next season when we're a more stable football club, hopefully, right? More stable environment for him to play in. Yeah. Kobbie Mainoo and Ugarte, the perfect midfield duo. I think for certain games, that's my big view on the midfield we've currently got. They are perfect. Some people say we can't combine our midfielders because it doesn't work. I think we have midfield combinations that are perfect for certain games. I don't think we have a pairing, which I would say I want to see those two 75% of games. And that's the difference. Hand-pick games, I think we can come up with a great duo. You know, Ugarte and Bruno are perfect for certain types of games, as are Kobbie and Ugarte. Casemiro and Ugarte, they're great for certain types of games. What we need next season is a pairing that we go, we like this for 70%, and then we chop and change when we need to on top of that. Højlund needs to start until he scores. Højlund definitely needs a goal. Top work with your Højlund video, by the way. Thank you very much. Hope you guys enjoyed that. It took a lot of research into that one. Like, I watched a stupid amount of United games back, which that alone deserves a like, by the way. Because I watched United a lot. So I'm in pain right now. Yeah, maybe you're right, though. Maybe the potential upside of Højlund scoring is worth perhaps the slight physical fatigue you might get. United will definitely rotate more in the Brentford game than the Bournemouth game. Yeah, I think that's fair. But we've seen Kobbie and Ugarte play together. It hasn't worked as well as we thought. Casemiro and Ugarte work better. That's exactly what I'm saying. There's some games Kobbie and Ugarte are ideal next to each other. There's certain games Casemiro and Ugarte are ideal, or Bruno and Ugarte. That's exactly... You're backing up my point there. You're agreeing with me. We have duos that are perfect for certain types of game, but not a duo which is perfect for most games. And that's where we need to change. Højlund needs a goal for sure. We'll put Højlund in the team then. We'll put Kobbie in the team because I'd like to see him, so you're not overruling that one. Who are you going for the other forward? Mount, Garnacho, Ericsson. Should we finish off with a poll? Let's not, actually. I want to see names in the chat. I want to see the player you're going to start out of Mount, Eriksen, Garnacho, and I want to see a brief reason. You don't have to do paragraphs, but if you want to, you can. Just a quick sentence. You know, it might be Mount because he needs sharpness. Eriksen to rest Garnacho. Garnacho, he's our only winger. Something like that. Give me the name and a brief reason behind why you might play him. If the defence gets secure and higher up the pitch, those 6s can be 8s. Mainu could still play there. I think we will struggle to ever see 2 8s here, just because hopefully we get more advanced wing-backs. So I think it would be tough to see 2 8s in this position. But I am of the belief that it can evolve into a 6 and an 8. And that's where I think, like you said, Cobby can absolutely still play that role. So, yeah. So Steve is going for Garnacho to start the game for the in-behind threat. Oh yeah, by the way, guys, if you are a member like Steve, you can use emojis, which is pretty cool. Edwick, I despise you. It's facts though, right? You do actually agree, like, game to game, you can kind of pick a duo that you think will get the job done, but it's rarely the same duo week to week. Mount, Garnacho has played too much and Eriksen is balls. Mount, he needs to deliver now or never. Morehouse, I like it. Just play the kids and keep the better attackers fit for Bilbao. Garnacho to attack Smith. Eriksen and swap with Bruno, rest Garnacho. Mount, meaningless fixture, needs minutes and Garnacho needs a rest. Mount needs game time and is good for the press. Rest Garnacho for Thursday. Garnacho to attack Smith. Garnacho. Mount for minutes. Say Bruno starts higher and Casemiro plays deeper. Garnacho from the bench. Give him some rest. He'll probably score from the bench against tired legs. Hopefully so. Mason Mount is ready to be a starter. Garnacho, just so I can get my weekly dose of Hoyland screaming at him. It's quite entertaining, isn't it? It's quite entertaining. A fit Mount is dangerous. The problem is I've just read all those out. Who have we seen the most of? I think Mount. I think the idea seems to be rest Garnacho. So start Mount. I didn't see many Eriksen shouts in there. I don't think there was a single one actually, so justice for Eriksen. So I think what we've got is this. I think this is the team we've got. Now, to be honest, regardless of the 11 that we come up with, it's going to be a tough game. Because Bournemouth are a good side. Their form has been poor. It's been poor for a while, Bournemouth, but they're still a good side. They're still very difficult. A lot of energy. They'll press you off the pitch, but technically they're quite strong as well. We do have bigger things to focus on, to concentrate on. So it's going to be a tough game. This 11 is strong enough to give us a chance, though. The left side, I'm a little bit worried about having the 2 youngsters next to each other, particularly against someone like Semenyo. I wish there was a way that we could spread them out a little bit more, but not sure that we can unless you did something like that, maybe. But apart from that, I quite like the 11. I think realistically, Garnacho gets on at some point. I think Dorgu would get on at some point, perhaps for Diogo Dalot. And ideally, you get Bruno off, whether that be for Eriksen, who will probably play at some point in this game. You know, I think Chidobe could. I'd like to see Casemiro given 20. Oh, yeah, Alex, you're right. For OCD's sake. Yeah. You are absolutely right. I quite like those two, by the way. I quite like that. I wish there was more of a winger there with them as well, but I quite like those two together in terms of intensity. But yeah, I think that's a reasonable 11 for this game. I think Casemiro could come on for Bruno at some point. Honestly, we could see Eriksen for Ugarte perhaps at some point, which, you know, feels like a slight physical downgrade there. Chidobe on here, Dorgu on here, Garnacho on here. That's sort of what I could see for this game. That's what I see for this game. So, yeah, I think that's a pretty strong team. The only thing we need to do now is score predictions. Score predictions. By the way, guys, just look at the goals scored column before we quickly do that. Look at the goals scored column. For those of you that can't see it, if you look at Manchester United and go to the number where it says 38, the first time, from left to right. We've scored 38 goals in the Premier League this season. That does say 38, doesn't it? Not 30? I hope it says 38. It says 38. That's 5 more than Ipswich. Ipswich are going to be relegated this season. It's actually mind-boggling that we've scored so few goals. And this is why we're looking at someone like Cunha for the summer, or we're looking at Delap to hopefully solve our goal scoring problems. For context, by the way, we've scored 38 goals this season. Delap's got 12 in the Premier League. Sounds like an upgrade to me. Sounds like an upgrade. Anyway, let's see some score predictions in the chat. We've got 1-1. We've got 3-2 loss, unfortunately. A 2-1 loss. 3-0 win, yes please. Bournemouth 3-1. Kluivert and Evan Nilsson brace. We move on to Thursday. I can just see this being one of those games where afterwards we don't care. Where it's a bit of a dull afternoon. It gets, I think it's a 2 o'clock kickoff, right? So it gets to 4 p.m. Sunday and we go, we didn't play too bad considering. We got Thursday ahead of us. 1-0 loss, it's not the end of the world. Or 2-1 loss, not the end of the world. I can see it being a little bit like that, to be honest. It wouldn't surprise me at all. But, you know me. I'm not going to predict a Manchester United loss. Yeah, Wolves have scored more. It's pain, mate. It's pain. Look at it. Look at the state of our goals scored. It's mental. Wait, how many more have Brentford got than us? Nearly 20 more goals than us. Also, I think it's going to end up pretty much. I think the stats are going to align that Liverpool will end up with double our goals. They might already be there, actually. But I think Liverpool are going to end the season with more than twice our goal output, which is mental. Mental. It's a sign of how far off we are. But that's not going to stop me predicting a Manchester United win. Let's quickly look at the 11. I'm going to go for 2-1 United. Obviously. Their goal scorer is going to be Kluivert. Our goal scorers are going to be... don't worry, I'm going to find some people to score some goals. I'm going to find some goals. Mount. Mason Mount's going to score. Lovely. And Mount, and there's going to be someone else. We're going to find someone. Mount and Højlund. That's right. Mason Mount, Rasmus Højlund score in a 2-1 win. Kluivert gets the goal for Bournemouth. And we're all going, I don't know how that happened. We're terrible. How do we beat Bournemouth? Happy days. Don't say Højlund. Bit late, mate. Ugarte and Garnacho. Yes, please. Please. Just anyone. Anyone scoring. Anyone that can score, that can get a bit of a boost ahead of the week coming up. Beautiful. Did you see the fact that I did, unfortunately, because my uncle is a Liverpool fan and he decided to remind me last night, even though I'd already seen it. So what a horrible person. If Liverpool stopped playing football on the 23rd of December, they would still have more points than us right now. But that doesn't matter, because we're ending the season on a positive. We're ending the season on a positive. It's going to be fine. We're going to win this football match. We're going to beat Bilbao. Then we're going to beat Brentford. Then we're going to beat Bilbao. Then we're going to beat West Ham. And I don't know who we've got for the rest of the season. But the goals are coming. Edwick, 3 own goals from Onana. No, I disagree. Højlund won't score. Højlund won't score. Prove me wrong, Rasmus. In brackets. I love it. The silence there for our goal scorers speaks volumes. I didn't even do that for comedic effect. I just genuinely couldn't think of someone that might grab a goal in this game. But we got there. It's Mount and Højlund. United win 2-1. Those are my predictions for this weekend. But I believe, apart from that, we're finished. I'm going to go check the copyright situation on Delap because that's given me a headache. So I need to sort that out. But I think the stream, we are finished there. So thank you guys very much for watching. Thank you very much for getting involved. 200 likes and AJ slaps his uncle. I'll do it for 20 likes. Yeah, thank you very much for watching. Thank you to everyone who has left a like on the stream, everyone who has joined the Discord channel, anyone who has subscribed, especially with notifications on, legendary behaviour. Anyone also who has gone over to the second channel, AJ Talks Tactics. I want to take that to the moon, particularly ahead of the World Cup next year. The World Cup is going to be big next year. I want the second channel grown by then. So if you could check it out, that would be amazing and greatly appreciated. Thank you also to... We had the super chats. I didn't read this one out from David, actually. He said 3-2 to Manchester United. David, thank you very much for the super chat. He said Garnacho. He said Højlund. And he said Kobe Mainu, all to find the back of the net. And they can recreate the sitting on the advertising board. Beautiful. 3-2. Thank you also for the gifted memberships. Thank you to everyone. What is RXG? I'm assuming we are underperforming it. I don't actually know for this season, but I do know that last season, our underlying numbers were 15th. I believe our underlying numbers last year had us at 15th. So this year we've actually just we have fallen and we've gotten worse. but actually we've just fallen to where we should have been last year, which is fun. Really fun. Really fun. I'll find out the expected goals and stuff, Edwig, for next stream. Anyway, that is it for today. Thank you guys very much for watching. I hope you have enjoyed this stream. Hopefully a video out this afternoon, as long as YouTube doesn't screw us with the copyright. Blame the Premier League. And yeah, if not, I'll see you over the weekend for content. Plenty coming on the way, so stay tuned for that.